What are the current limitations for renewable energy when it comes to from an investing point of view?
Yeah, the challenge that investors have for large scale projects as they move from a subsidy based regime whereby the price at which their output was purchased was underpinned by government subsidy. Subsidies have fallen away, and so investors now have to assume a new risk associated with the price, not knowing what the price will be across a day, across a month, across a year, and out 20 years. So that is a challenge for investors. What we describe essentially as a market risk. So investors into the next wave of renewable energy projects need to take this new market risk. Now they look for long-term contracts that gives them a fixed price for the output. However, companies that provide these long-term contracts to purchase the output are unwilling to provide longer than several years for the sole reason that they themselves can't take this new market price risk, or certainly find it very difficult to take that risk. What energy storage, and in particular the compressed air project, allows for is that risk to be managed by the storage, because we're dealing with the variability of output that introduces a variability of price into the market. If I'm using the storage, what I'm able to do is I'm able to firm essentially the output and the price in the market. So it reduces risk for the investors. And that has resulted in a business model where we will enter into a long-term contract with a renewables-based utility company that will use the storage to essentially manage those risks. And a lot is talked about the technical innovation around the project. One of the overriding innovations in this project is the business model. And understanding that business model and achieving this new way of commercializing energy storage can be repeated right across Europe and our pipeline of projects that we have under development. And we can all do this for the first time in Groningen, hence the unique opportunity to take all of our learnings from the project in Zoutwending and then globalize that expertise.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I suppose I'd like to add to that as well. You know, when we consider renewable power, and particularly when we look at offshore wind, these are large, highly capex and intense industries. Investors, unlike coal or coal or oil or gas power plants, investment in these projects is very much upfront. Whilst our operating cost of fuel is free, when you're looking at a coal plant, your costs are spread across the life of the project, and the volatility of fuel prices means that you can balance your risks to a certain degree. Investors don't have that luxury when it comes to wind, and particularly large offshore wind project. When you're investing all up front and you're making your projections for the next 20, 30 years of operation and price of power. What we're seeing more and more so in all of the European markets in particular, where offshore wind and renewable energy is starting to increase in percentage on the grid, is as Keith mentioned, the variability in price. What we're going to see as we see more and more renewable energies getting on the grid, which is essential to get this decarbonization of the grid, is that we're going to see greater volatility, and we're also going to see more occasions when wind farms will be shut down. And this is a problem, and this is a threat for investors when the amount of time that wind farms will be shut down because the demand for power at that specific time will not be there. Your asset is not generating a revenue, and this is an asset, again, remember, you've paid for upfront. So this is a real threat, and this is seen as a real risk by investors, and this is something that can hold back the renewable energy, can hold back the development of the renewable energy industry. The way of resolving that threat is providing a market that can balance the renewable energy, the large volumes of power that will sometimes come off these offshore wind farms, and provide a provision of that market can be in the form of energy storage. So instead of shutting down the turbines and spilling all of that power, losing all of that wind, losing all of that free energy as such that you've effectively already paid for up front, we have the opportunity of providing the market and capturing that energy and bringing it back to the market, using it in the market at a later stage. So it provides a stability, it provides security for the investors who are looking 20 and 30 years ahead, who are looking at 20 or 30 years ahead when they know there's going to be more and more renewables on the market. And this provides an outlet for that energy. It provides a market for that energy. And it also provides the stability that is required to support that entire industry.